August, the 120th Fighter Wing of the Montana Air National Guard hosted their annual Family Day picnic. Nearly 1,000 airmen retirees and family members turned out for the event.
You know, it's a time for men and women to get together as one team, one flight, and to bring all the families and all the traditions and values of the Guard to this occasion. It's a time when we can relax and be with our fellow troops and get to know them a little bit better.
Volunteers cooked and served hundreds of hamburgers and hot dogs, along with beans, salads, and chips for lunch. A local ice cream truck was even on hand to pass out dessert. Picnic goers were also able to browse through a BX case lot sale, and informational booths from various vendors were set up around the area, many offering free items and giveaways.
It's a great experience, and for the young kids to come up here and be able to participate, and the spouses to come up here and be able to participate. And it's kind of our way, the guys in the Guard, to tell our families thank you for all of our support during the year and coming up and being part of this deal. It's a fun deal. The kids get to do things. It's a good family picnic. It's a good time that we all get to sit around and visit, and it's very enjoyable.
Children of all ages were able to participate in many activities throughout the area, to include a bouncy castle, steer roping, and a treasure pit, where hundreds of dollars of prizes and candy were given away to the youngsters.
It's just taken quite a while, but when it all comes together, it's just fun to see everybody just enjoying themselves and really appreciating the day, and we're thanking goodness that the weather turned out really nice for the day and the kids playing in all the kids' games.
Reporting from the Montana Air National Guard for 1st Air Force Now, this is Staff Sergeant Christy Mason.
In September, one of the largest exercises ever held in Montana took place. Military and civilian members from several states arrived in Helena for Vigilant Guard 2009.
The earthquake preliminary estimates suggest a moment magnitude of 6.5.
With the scenario of an earthquake near Helena, Montana, the Montana National Guard began the exercise called Vigilant Guard. More than 500 members of the Guard were involved, including personnel from several surrounding states, plus local civilian agencies.
One of the main goals of this exercise is to test our systems, test our emergency systems, both on the military side and the civilian side, and the systems for requests for providing resources to whatever's needed based off the incident command.
Vigilant Guard is one of the largest exercises ever held in Montana and brought together resources from the federal, state, and local levels, plus military involvement.
The ones playing are DES and St. Peter's, the ambulance services are playing. So just to see how they bring patients in and out of the EMED and control that.
Months of preparation led up to the actual event, but exercises like these are important.
We know the world is not a safe place, and we need this kind of training to prepare ourselves for any kind of attack we might have, natural disaster that might occur. So something like this is very beneficial.
Good communications is always an important key to completing a successful mission. This is true in training as well as in real-world emergencies. I filed this story on the 120th Communications Flight Comtruck supporting the exercise.
Communication. It is vital to accomplish any mission. During the Vigilant Guard exercise in Helena, Montana, the 120th Fighter Wing of the Montana Air National Guard deployed their mobile communication truck.
From the time that we set up, our initial got wheels chalked here at the deployed location, it takes about 13 minutes to go from pulling up, jumping out of the truck, till we're sending and receiving emails, broadcasting wireless internet, sending video over the internet to wherever it's needed.
An exercise like this also highlighted the versatility and mobility of the vehicle.
One thing that we are is, with our coupe truck is there's some mobility compared to the state command, which is pretty much a motorhome, where we could go farther up in the mountains on the dirt roads and all that compared to the big motorhome type command vehicle or the trailer pulled command vehicle.
The week-long exercise revolved around a simulated earthquake and the aftermath that would follow, while various government and private entities worked through different situations. The Comtruck was the key to success.
This truck is a complete initial communications package. We can start out with our radios. We've got UHF, VHF, HF radio capabilities, 800 megahertz. What all that does is comes into a RIOS, a radio interoperability system, so that we can cross-band and patch any radio to any other radio.
In this report, Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson introduces us to the services of the Expeditionary Medical Support, or the EMEDS facility. It was set up by the Montana National Guard to tend to the wounds of the simulated victims during the Vigilant Guard 2009 exercise.
Montana Army and Air National Guard medical personnel staffed the Expeditionary Medical Support Facility, which was located near Fort Harrison, Montana, during the Vigilant Guard 2009 exercise. The medical professionals used the exercise to gain valuable training as they handled the steady flow of victims brought to the field hospital seeking care for their injuries sustained during the simulated earthquake.
The EMEDS is the Air Force's modular, deployable, expandable hospital that can be sent anywhere in the country or the world to provide a hospital-based care for patients and casualties. It stands for Expeditionary Medical Support. It's been used since at least Iraqi freedom around the world, and also in contingencies like Katrina, other earthquakes, and the floods that have happened here in the U.S.
Upon arriving at the EMEDS facility, victims were triaged according to the severity of their injuries.
Well, what we do in triage, it's a French word meaning to sort, and basically we're sorting out casualties. We sort through to see if there's any life-threatening injuries. Those we deemed urgent, and we take those first and give those consideration for treatment. And then, depending on our facilities and our resources at that point, then we further treat the other casualties as we have resources and capabilities. We treat the less severe at that point, and finally down to the minimal or the minor casualties.
A community experiencing a 6.5 magnitude earthquake would most likely see great damage caused to its buildings and numerous injuries inflicted upon its residents. That's why it's important to have medical help quickly available and on the scene of a natural disaster.
We normally don't deal with civilian emergencies, so this has given us a whole new level of exposure to how we might assist the state and our fellow citizens in an emergency situation.
The training gained by the medical personnel during Vigilant Guard will ensure that should Montana ever experience a natural disaster of this scale, medical help will be ready and able to handle the needs of its citizens. In Helena, Montana, this is Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reporting for 1st Air Force Now.
Our final story, what was learned during the Vigilant Guard exercise? And I have that report.
Helena, Montana. The Big Sky Country is one of the most seismically active states in the Union. Fort Harrison, west of Helena, was a hub of activity as the Vigilant Guard exercise was held to prepare for an earthquake disaster.
You know, I think all things considered, the exercise has proved itself to be a great success here. A lot of learning by a lot of people, a lot of levels. Specifically here at the Joint Task Force, we were able to bring together a group of people who normally don't work together, but it just come together and seemed to work out well.
The week-long exercise brought hundreds of people, both military and civilian, to the Helena Valley to work together.
Well, for me, this was the first time that I'd been involved in a joint task force or a joint operation exercise. So for me, I learned quite a bit, especially working with the Army individuals. And coming out of this, I know a lot more about how to work in a joint operation.
The last major earthquake to hit Montana's capital city was in 1935. But Helena sits on a seismic zone that also includes central and southeastern Idaho and western Wyoming.
The folks that come from out of state were especially valuable to us, and the discussions we've had with them, we were valuable to them. We both learned in that realm. The folks in state, likewise, the ability to work Army and Air, to work with different entities is always just a real benefit to everybody.
Thank you for watching what the men and women of the Montana Air National Guard achieved over the past year. For more information about the Montana Air National Guard, please refer to the contact information seen at the end of the program.